Michael, dude, this comes as no surprise as the Concord director steps down 2 weeks after the game goes offline. Ouch. Grant Taylor Hill over at Insider Gaming. 2 weeks ago, Concord had failed so badly that it was taken offline, leaving the team at Firewalk Studios sitting in despair at the situation they found themselves in. The game that they'd spent years putting together was DOA. That's right, dude. It was dead in the water before it even arrived. That's the problem. Yeah. It's so unfortunate, right? Pulling in so few players and missing the mark so monumentally that it failed to gain an ounce of traction at release. Now, the game director, Ryan Ellis, has stepped down from his position and moved into a support role, per a report from Kotaku. In Kotaku's report, it was mentioned that Ellis was the main shot caller on Concord, which failed miserably from the moment it hit the market last month. It was only this summer that the game received a proper trailer, with many balking at the price tag attached to what would have fared much better as a free-to-play shooter. Dude, we called that the minute they announced it. Yep. There's just been so many questionable missteps with this. I feel bad that Ryan's now had to step down. At this point, I'm more worried about the entire studio just being closed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of the next step. That's when we heard they were going offline. That was exactly what we talked about, and it is disappointing, right? But I think it, at least for now, the person who is most held responsible for this, right? If you're the game director, you kind of are the person who has to take the blame for this game completely missing. Is the only person that has suffered so far, right? I guess that is the one way to look at it. At least we have, again, the studio so far that we know of hasn't laid off everyone, right? Firewalk, at least for now, we haven't seen anything about it. So at least we're seeing one person take accountability, being stepped down. And again, you and I said, we called this from the start, right? $40. That's not going to work. We played the game on release. Was okay, but it wasn't something that hooked any of us back in to say, like, hey, we got to keep playing this game. So at the end of the day, we saw this one coming. It's an unfortunate situation, but when your game flops, someone's got to be held accountable. That starts at the top, and that's exactly what it looked like happened.
Yeah, absolutely. He stepped down in a supporting role, but I think now it's the 160 developers that are currently there are all terrified for the job, right?
Yeah.
Like, what happens next? Is PlayStation going to say, okay, here, we're going to fund your next game, or are we just going to shut them down completely? Because Concord didn't even last 2 weeks, dude, and they are scrapping the game already. Like, after 8 years of development, and you didn't even make it a month. Dude, not even a month. But, like, where's the feedback, though, from Sony? Here's the frustrating part about it all, is that The Last of Us had a multiplayer. They scrapped that, but yet they kept Concord going. Completely mind-blowing. Completely mind-blowing on that one, right? Think about it. The Last of Us has such a pedigree and such a following that even if they would have put out half of what Concord had, it would have had an install base.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's where I'm baffled. Who at the higher, above Firewalk, at PlayStation, is making these choices going, hey, let's scrap that one and we'll keep this one alive. I feel bad that the team put in so much work over 8 years for the game just to go south in 2 weeks. But at the same time, somebody needs to call the shots here, and then they missed this one by a mile.